a good string of those this fall, this summer. Thankful that the Lord's still in control of that. As Brother Nick has already mentioned. Beautiful picture he's painted outside. Fall colors are good. Something to look at. Should make us think about him. Yeah, it's awful easy to get wrapped up in how they look. And everybody that's looking at them and the traffic you have to fight and all that. You ought to see him when you see it. Amen. He created it. He made it. Nobody can paint a picture like him. People's tried. People's took pictures and tried to paint pictures of what he's made, and they can't do it justice. You ever seen like a grand scene? It just looks so beautiful to you, and you take a picture of it and get home and look at it, and man, that don't even look like it. Right. You can't recreate it. Amen. You can't outdo it. Amen. You can't do what he did, what he does. And I'm thankful for that. Anybody got anything you want to say this morning? Everybody's going to talk at the same time, I guess, huh? It's good to see everybody back this morning. Looks like about everybody's here. And pray for Sheila. She's not feeling well this morning. It's, Lord's blessed us. It's been good to us. I think I'm going to go back to last week's lesson. I just felt like I needed to, and we're going to go back and cover it. We might catch this week's next week, but I don't know for sure. But Lord just really impressed on me about the lesson last week and about that manna that He provided. Amen. And I was thinking about it driving this morning. They ate the manna for 40 years. He gave them manna every morning for 40 years in the wilderness. He's still giving manna every day today. These thousands of years later, every single morning, every single person that He feeds, He's still singing it. You say, well, I worked hard for mine, I earned it, and I paid for it. Well, who gave you the strength to go work? Who provided the food for you to buy? He did. And we so quickly knock them for doubt and murmuring and complaining and saying, oh, they got it so bad. When just a couple of lessons ago, we studied about Him parting the Red Sea for them, walking on dry ground. Now they've already forgot it. They're complaining. Here we are out here in the wilderness. You're going to let us die of hunger and thirst. He's not going to let you die of hunger and thirst. He's provided what you need. I thought about the model prayer there this morning. He said, give us this day, our daily bread. Wonder why He done it that way. Same way with the manna. He gave them what they needed for that day. Didn't give them 2 days, didn't give them 3. Just that day. Still the same now. We are bad to look ahead and look to the future and try to plan for the future, and there's nothing wrong with that. Don't put too much stock in it because you don't have a promise of tomorrow. We're awful guilty of not focusing on what's to do today. What He's provided today. It's real easy to do what they did. It's real easy to complain and say about how bad we've got it and oh me. But we need to stop and look at how big He is. What He's doing. He's still painting the picture of the pretty leaves this morning. He still told the sun to come up this morning. He provides all that every single day. And it's awful easy to do like they do and not thank Him for it. If I thought about my own life, how many days in my life have I got up, went to work, come home, worked some more, and went to bed, ate 3 good meals, had a job to go to, had the health to go to it, had work to do when I got there, paid for it, etc., 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 all day, every day. And how many days do I not thank Him? Not think about it. Just carry on. It's just another day. He provided everything I had to have. And He always has. I'm 52 years old. He's not been late yet. He's not letting me go hungry a single day. You say, well, that's kind of simple. It is. And and praising Him and thanking Him for all that is that simple.
Yeah.
Just thinking about it in their brain, in their mind, instead of clogging it up with all we got to do today and where all we got to be today. And we all do it. It's a rat race we live in. The pace of life is unbelievable. But if you think about Him talking there in Psalm, just be still. Just take a minute and be still and know He's God. He still is. He's not changed. And I say this so many times, but He's not.
Yeah.
It bears repeating. He's never changed, and He never will. We see so much history throughout His Word. All these accounts that we have, we can read about, and we can read about the children of Israel here and all their doings and what He did for them. And it's true facts that it happened. They are patterned for us that we can go by and see what they did and what they didn't do and try to make our lives right by it. But He's still on the throne. He's still the same God today as He was then.
Amen.
I don't know how many years exactly this has been since this happened, this account, but He ain't changed. He's still providing. He will provide. You say, well, you just don't know how bad I got it. No, I don't. He does. You just don't know what I'm going through. Well, He does. And it's so easy for us to do like them and go complain to the preacher or whoever, go complain to somebody, blame it on them, and we're really accusing God because He's the one that's in control. He's the one that's mapped it all out. And if you got a complaint, it'd be a good idea to take it to Him.
Amen.
I don't like I should, by no means. I should.
Yeah.
You know, when you think about taking a complaint to Him, then you probably stop and study about what you're getting ready to say. Because you know He's in control. You know He made everything. He created you. How can you really complain to Him? That's awful easy to complain to somebody else. They can't really do nothing for you anyway. Well, they might give you an encouraging word or two, but they can't help you. Just like Moses and Aaron couldn't do anything for them here. And they were the go-between between them and God, yes. But physically, they couldn't help them. They were complaining to their own source. Somebody that couldn't really help them. And we do it all the time. You know, I try to figure things out and do things my way. So I got this and never even go to God with it in the first place. But, you know, it's a good thought, good lesson for us in our own life. And He's wonderful.
Amen.
He's still, as Nikki said Wednesday night, He's still performing miracles every day. Did you get up and put your feet on the floor this morning? Yep. Obviously, we're all sitting here. So that's a miracle. Can you make yourself take another breath? No. That's a miracle. On and on and on and on every day. And yet, we go headlong into the day a lot of times and never even think about it. Just the little things. And you go past all those physical things and go to be saved. If you're saved by His grace, that's the most wonderful thing you can think about.
Amen.
You get that on your mind and the day looks a little better. Get that on your mind and everything's going on around you, don't really matter that much. Because if you're born again and ready to meet Him, it just really don't matter what comes today. It really don't matter what happens today. If I don't survive today, I'm saved and I'm going to be with Him. They don't look so bad when you look at it through that perspective. But obviously, as we study this, they were looking at their circumstances, what was going on around them. And we see here in chapter 16, I guess we'll start there. And it says in verse 2 there, they've left Egypt there, of course, and now they're coming through their journey here. It says they took their journey from Elam, and all the congregation of the children of Israel came to the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elam and Sinai, on the 15th day of the second month, after their departing out of the land of Egypt. So they're 45 days in their journey here, thereabouts. And the whole congregation of the children of Israel murmured against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness. Okay, they're complaining, murmuring, talking about what's going on, and just like we do today. Well, you know what what's happening here, you know, what he's doing, and he's brought us out here to die, etc. And the children of Israel said to them, would to God we had died in the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the flesh pots, and we did eat bread to the full. For ye have brought us forth into this wilderness to kill this whole assembly with hunger. You know, we had to work in Egypt. We had a pretty hard time in Egypt, but we ate good. They took care of our needs, our physical needs. And now you fellas are brought us out here to die. Nothing said about him bringing us out. Nothing said about the death angel passing over them and all that. Nothing said about them parting the Red Sea for them to get to where they're at. All those great miracles they've already forgotten. Now, if they did it, for sure we're going to do it too. We're in the same body they were. He brought us out here to let us die. Then said the Lord unto Moses, aren't you glad that he knows what you need? If you leave them where they are, they're in the wilderness, they have no food or water, they're in a bad spot. Murmuring, complaining, they forgot about what God's done. Then said the Lord to Moses, he knows where you're at. He knows what you need. He hears you when you complain. He hears you when you praise him. He knows all that. I'm glad the Lord said, don't you? I'm glad he still cares.
Amen.
I'm glad he's still concerned with my well-being and yours. Knows what you need when you need it. Then said the Lord to Moses, behold, I will rain bread from heaven for you, and the people shall go out and gather a certain rate every day, that I may prove them, whether they will walk in my law or no. So they're on the proving ground here. He said, I'm going to rain bread down. I'm going to feed them, take care of them. And I'm going to tell them to gather a certain rate every day, and it's so to see if they're going to follow me, do what I say. So again, the same principle still works with us today. A lot of times we have to go through a proving ground. These things come, these trials come, these hardships come. See how you're going to do. See how you're going to stack up. If you never get tested, you never know where you're at. If you go to school and you study books and you go through all these lessons and you never get tested, you never know how you stack up. You don't know if you learned anything or not. But when you take that test and you put down on paper what you've learned, then you can see, well, okay, I got it, I learned it, I see it. If you never take the test, you never know what you learn. You never get any benefit out of it. So, you know, we ought to think about it more, the tests that come in our life, the trials that come, anything that comes, it's a test. To see how you're going to stack up. And what you compare the work to is the textbook. That's how you check your work. The book that you studied, and the information in that book is what you're tested by. And when you're going to give your answer, then you go back to the book and see if you're right or not. It applies here. You know, if you get tested and you come through that test and you stacked up pretty good, who are you comparing to? To him, the Savior. It's how you stack up to him. It's not how you stack up to your neighbor or your wife or husband or family. It's how you stack up to him. That's the works you learned. And you know, anything else you learn out of is true. He wants us to learn more about him. And he said, to come to pass that on the sixth day they shall prepare that which they bring in, and it shall be twice as much as they gather daily. So, as we get on in over here, they gather an omer per person, per family. If I studied it out correctly, an omer is about 9.5 cups, a little over 9 cups. That's a pretty healthy portion per person of this bread, like whatever, you know, I don't know, some say like a honey wafer or some little kind of bread anyway. But he wasn't stingy with it. He gave them enough. And, you know, I thought was, again, he's still giving enough. He gives us exactly what we need. He didn't give them any extra. He didn't pile their cupboard full every day, so it go to waste. He gave them exactly what they needed every day. He didn't want them working on the Sabbath day, seventh day. So on the sixth day, he gave them twice enough to cover the seventh day. Isn't that good? Isn't that good that he's still doing that for you and me? He's still giving us just what we need. Exactly. Well, you know, you went by the size of your family, and each person in your family is what you gather for. You didn't worry about the rest of the people around you. You didn't gather enough for them too, and you know, your neighbor down the street and all that. Just enough for your family and you. And it just, I don't know, it just struck me as I studied it. He has just enough. His supply never runs short. They were out here 40 years. Every morning they had manna, enough for their family. He provided what they needed. Thank the Lord, he's still providing today. Still providing what you need. Just right. What I need, what my family needs is different than what your family needs. According to their size is how they gather. According to what's going on in your lives, what your needs are. You know, my family's need and Brother Ben's family's needs are totally different. They might be similar at times, but on a day-to-day basis, they're different. You know, somebody might be sick, somebody might not be in mind. You know, there might be financially they're not here. Whatever it is, he knows exactly, precisely what you need and what I need and what I need. And he will provide it. It's available. Now, he didn't take the manna and drop it off in their tent. Just put it in the cupboard where they can have it. They had to get up, go out, and gather and do what he said. Like you preachers talking about it Sunday about, you know, cutting wood. You can't just sit there and hope for the wood box filled up. You got to do what he said. You got to put forth the effort. But there, we'll skip over to verse 14. And when the dew that lay was gone, well, down here they're talking about the quail. 13. And it came to pass that at evening the quails came up, covered the camp. In the morning the dew lay around the host. And when the dew that lay was gone up, behold, upon the face of the wilderness there lay a small round thing as small as a hoar of frost on the ground. When the children of Israel saw it, they said one to another, it is manna, for they wist not what it was. Moses said to them, this is the bread which the Lord hath given you to eat. And what a miracle. I mean, you know, we talk about manna and we've heard it preached about our life. Just stop and think about that a minute. And in the evening, there's quail all over the ground. They had meat to eat. Just what they needed. In the morning, the dew came, and as soon as the dew left, this manna popped up for them together. How wonderful is that? Somewhere they had nothing to eat. They were helpless. We were helpless. You can't make it on your own without it. You know, you can say, well, I can do this and I can do that. Not without his help, you can't. He provides. I'm so thankful he provides. It says, and this thing which the Lord hath commanded, gather of it every man according to his eating. An omer for every man according to the number of your persons. Take you every man for them which are in his tents. Children of Israel did so, and gathered some more, some less. When they did meet it with an omer, he that gathered much had nothing over. He that gathered little had no lack. They gathered every man according to his eating. Again, just what each family needed. Exactly enough. Nothing extra, nothing slided, just enough. And again, today, he's still got just enough. He knows what you need. And it says, and when they did meet it with an omer, he gathered much, about the same verse. And Moses said, let no man leave it till the morning. Notwithstanding, they hearkened not unto Moses, but some of them left it till morning, and it bred worms and stank. And Moses was wroth with them, and they gathered it every morning, every man according to his eating. And when the sun waxed hot, it melted. Just stop and think about this. What a miracle it was. You know, this bread popped up out of the dew. They had time to gather what they needed. As soon as the sun popped up, it melted away. You had to gather it while there was time. I think about the way people approach things today, the work ethic that people have today. I'm afraid a lot of people would go off hungry if they had to go gather manna at a certain time in the morning.
Right.
They had to get it before the sun come up and it melted away. I'm afraid there'd be a lot of people starving to death today if that's the way it was today. Because they've not got enough gumption to get out of bed in time to get it.
Right.
Sad that we've got to that place. But, but there again, we miss out on a lot of things. We rob ourselves of a lot of blessing because we don't have enough gumption to do what God said. Yeah. It was simple. This is not profound. It's a miracle, yes. It's an amazing thing, yes. But God told them, every morning I'm going to give you bread, and every evening I'm going to give you meat. You gather this much at this time, and you'll have what you need. That's pretty simple. Get out of the bed, go get what you need for your family, and you'll be good for the day. Pretty simple. But they had to get up out of the bed and go partake of what he said. So many times it's a whole lot easier to lay in the bed. It's a whole lot easier to say, well, that's too hard. That's too complicated. That might upset my schedule or whatever, and not do it. And as they would have missed getting fed, we miss the same thing spiritually a lot of times. Like Brother Daniel said this week about having an opportunity to talk to people. If we pass those by, we miss a meal. We miss getting fed from him because we obeyed what he said. Remorse on here, guilty. I'm guilty. Terribly. And how much do we miss out? I mean, my life's been a blessing. I've been blessed my whole life. I'm sure there's been some hard days, some difficult times, but not many. But I don't deserve any of that, and I'm not done near enough to deserve that. But he blesses me anyway. Imagine what it could be if we just simply done what he said. Got out of the bed, went out and gathered, got it out in the evening together, just enough for what we need for that day. Just listen to what he said. That's all he was after. He was seeing who would listen, who would obey. Still out in the day. It's still the way it is today. He's just listening, waiting to see who's going to do what he said. And Lord help it, it'd be me. Be you. Now I know all you do a lot better at it than I do, but there's always room to improve. Just think of the blessings we miss out on because we don't just simply do what he said. Just that simple. And we have the privilege of prayer to go to him to find out what he wants. And so many times we let that slip, but we see here that they couldn't get too much. Don't gather any more than you need. Don't be a hog about it. Don't try to hoard it up for another day. Just get what you need today. Again, we don't have any promise of tomorrow. We may not be able to get out of here. Which, again, if you're saved, that's okay. But we get greedy just like we do with everything. I want some more. I want a little extra today. I want some, no, just enough. God, what do I need today? Give me today my daily bread. Give me today what I need today. Tomorrow don't matter. And yesterday is too late. You can't do nothing yesterday. You can't do nothing tomorrow. It's not here yet. We're living today, right now. And today is when we need to serve him. Today is when we need to do what he said, what he bids us to do. And today, thankfully, is the day of salvation. Today is the day you get saved if God's pleased with your heart. Isn't that wonderful? What a wonderful day. The day you got saved. Nikki was talking about it Wednesday night. The day you were born was a wonderful day, great miracle. The greatest miracle that's ever been the day you got saved. For sure. Because without that, the rest of it doesn't make any difference. The miracle of natural birth makes no difference whatsoever if you've not been born again. Because when you die, you're going to hell forever. What kind of life is that? What kind of reward is that? So it came to pass on the 6th day, they gathered twice as much bread. 2 owners for one man, and all the rulers of the congregation came and told Moses. And he said to them, this is that which the Lord has said. Tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath of the Lord. Bake that which ye shall bake today. Seed that you will seed. And that which remaineth up, lay it up for you to be kept until the morning. They laid it up till the morning, and Moses made and did not stink. Neither was there any worm therein. Moses said, eat that today, for today is the Sabbath unto the Lord. Today you shall not find it in the field. So there wasn't even any there on the Sabbath day. Some went out to go gather, and there wasn't any there. That's the way he had it planned out. He gave them what they needed. But what happens if you didn't gather enough on Saturday? Or on the day before the Sabbath? You wouldn't have anything. Because there wasn't any coming the next day. He told them that, and all they had to do is listen. And they get fed the 7th day. How many times we just don't pay attention to what he's saying? Don't pay attention to what we ought to be doing. You know, if you were halfway dozing off when they told what was taking place here, that you're supposed to gather twice as much on Saturday, guess what? You go hungry on Sunday.
Yeah.
You do it without. How many times in my life have I done without? God, I just didn't listen. Didn't pay attention to what was being said. It was simple. Again, it wasn't complicated. You didn't have to have a master's degree to figure out the program here. You know, the man is there in the morning, you got to get it before the sun comes up. 12 there in the evening, you go gather this much for your family every day. You'll be took care of. So it wasn't rocket science, but you had to do it. You had to put forth the effort to partake of it. Same way in our lives today, we have to put forth effort to partake of His blessing, His help. It says 6 days you shall gather, but on the 7th day, which is a Sabbath, there will be none. And it came to pass that there went out some people on the 7th day to gather, and they found none. Huh. Just like He said. Happened just like He said it's going to. Again, that's still taking place today. It's happening just like He said it's going to. Things are going on in the world today that He told us in His Word is going to happen. He's still in control. I can encourage you that He's still in control. You say the world's gone mad, and they have. It's a crazy world we live in. Things are going on today we couldn't imagine would ever happen. God's still on the throne. He's not went anywhere. He's not going to go anywhere. It matters not how bad it gets. It matters not what comes. He is still in control. For sure. You can take it to the bank. That's one thing that you can count on. You can't count on anything in this world. It can change. It can do a 360 in 30 seconds on the media. They can say something to turn this thing completely around. Just like that. It's that crazy. But it don't matter what takes place. He's still on the throne.
Amen. He's
still got you covered. He's still got that manna every morning. He's got exactly what you need for every day. You can just count on it. You can't count on anything else. You can't count on your friends, your neighbors, for certain. You count on me long enough, I'll fail you. I won't do it on purpose. I will. I'll let you down. He'll never let you down. And you know, it's so easy for us to get caught up in the world and put our faith in the government or whatever, other people, anything besides Him. But you got your faith anywhere besides Him, you're mistaken. You're going down the wrong road. You're going down a road where there's no help. You're going out into an empty place like on the Sabbath day they did here. They went out on their own, together, on their own, not listening to what He said. They got nothing. Anytime we go on our own, we get nothing. Because we're nothing. We have nothing to offer. He has everything.
Amen.
Which one do you want to do? Nothing? Most of the time in my life, I choose nothing. How sad is that? It's pitiful, isn't it? You know, when Preacher Daniel mentioned it a few weeks ago, preached how pitiful he felt. I agree, we all are. We're pitiful. We choose nothing over everything a lot of the time. Not all the time, thankfully, but a lot of the time. We choose to go out and find nothing rather than just listen to what he said and have everything. And it don't make any sense, but we're still in sinful flesh, and we'll have to fight that till he comes. But I'm glad he has everything you need. And it says there in verse 31, and the house of Israel calls the name thereof manna. It was like coriander seed white, and the taste of it was like wafers made with honey. And Moses said, This is the thing which the Lord commanded, build an altar of it to be kept for generations, that they may see the bread wherewith I fed you in the wilderness, when I brought you forth from the land of Egypt. Here we see, he tells them to keep some of it. Don't believe the worms ever got to this, they kept. He says, keep it for generations, that they may see what I did for you. And I thought about that as I studied, you know, how are we passing along the things that God has done in our life to the generations after us? You know, we stop and think, and, you know, it says 18 now, and sometimes I think, well, did I really teach him anything? You know, what have I taught him? I mean, does he really know how to do this or this or this? And all that's good, but it don't really matter. What have I taught him about God's Word and what God's done for me in my life and what he did for Grandpa and Grandma and great-grandpa and Grandma and Moses and Aaron and all the children of Israel? What's he done for all of them? Keep the conversation going. If we never talk about what took place, a few generations down the road, nobody knows about it. I mean, if we stop reading his Word and studying and talking about it to our kids and their kids and their kids, and eventually it goes away. They don't know anything about it. You know, they've never heard of the man in the wilderness. They've never heard of him feeding them with quail and all this, if we don't tell them. You know, if you have a child and never teach them anything, what a sad adult they're going to make. They don't have to do nothing. It's sad. They don't know who their parents are, their grandparents are, whatever. They don't know their lineage or all that. But if we don't tell them about all these things in God's Word, they'll never know. And if, you know, this is what it's telling them, be sure, carry it on. Tell them what he's done for you. And the same applies to us today. Just tell them what he's done for you. What did Apostle Paul do? One of the greatest preachers I believe that's ever lived. About every message you heard him recorded, told them what happened on the road to Damascus. The day he got saved. That's the best preaching you can do. Just tell them about what God did for you. And what he is doing for you. That's what it's all about. Like Nick said this morning, it's all about him. There's praying coming to church this morning, you know, Lord, just let them see you. If you don't see him in what I teach or what's preached, you missed it. If you see me, you saw nothing, for sure. But if you see him, you saw everything. That's what it's about. That's what his Word's about. That's what our life's about. That's what he wants from us. It's for us to see him. And then in turn, we tell other people about him. They get saved, they tell people about him. That's how it works. If we quit telling, just like he told them here, if we quit talking about it, we quit telling it, eventually it dies out. Nobody gets saved. Nobody knows about him. You say, well, that's crazy. That's not what happened. Well, am I doing my part? Not like I should. Sure. There's plenty of room to improve. We are telling. It's our duty to tell it. Has he done anything good for you? Oh my goodness. I could never, there's not enough time or words to say what all he's done for me. So how much do I talk about it? Not near enough. If we stop talking about it, if we stop telling it, nobody gets saved. Nobody gets help. It dies out. It's not going to. It's not going to die out. He's got it under control. He'll always have something that's going to tell it. But personally, in my life, how many people am I cheating by not telling? Well, you know what I'm saying? It's something to think about. We ought to tell about His goodness. There's plenty to tell. You'll never run out of something to tell. It's awful easy to get bashful and not want to talk about things, but that's worth talking about. All this other mess ain't worth talking about. Anything God's done for you is worth talking about. He's saved you by His grace. That's all I got to tell you. Like I said, you leave the rest of it out. You tell them how He saved you, and that'll show them they can get the same thing. I'm glad He provides, aren't you?
Amen.
He always provides. It's available. You just do what He said. Partake of it. That's the easy part. It will make it hard. Just come on out of your tent and get it. Here it is. Right there for you. Every day. You just got to put forth the effort. Believe what I said is true. Believe that, they could have doubted and said, oh, well, it ain't going to be here today. I ain't going out today. It's rainy outside. It's not going to be a dew today. We're not going to have any manna. Not the way it worked. Every day. 40 years. Every day. Every how old you've been. However old you are. Every day. It's been available. Now, you might not have partook of it. You might have decided to sleep in and not take it today. But it was available every day. And it will be available every day till you die. And it's just, I don't know. I hope you got something out of it that really helped me this morning. And appreciate you praying. Just encourage you that God's got what you need.
Amen.
Everything. Just trust Him every day for what you need. He's got it. The world don't have it. The government don't have it. A lot of people think, well, the government's going to keep me up. They've got enough to take care of them. They don't. It can be gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
They're living on borrowed money anyway, and time and all that. But He's got what you need. Don't worry about all this other mess. Don't worry about who the president is. Don't worry about the virus and all that. But whatever comes, He has got it.
Amen.
I promise you, He's got it. And the proof's right here. He shows us over and over and over and over again. He's got it. And I'm glad. And I'm glad it's not up to me, aren't you? Glad it's not up to the president or anybody else. He is in control. You can count him every day. He will not let you down. Ever. Not ever. How big is that? Bigger than I am. He will never let you down. What a blessing. I hope you got some help. So anybody else got anything? If not, let's pray for Brother Daniel this morning.